Hello and welcome back to our Vlandian Knight adventures. We're going to be fighting quite a few vassals in the beginning parts of this episode as the Sturgians and the Botanians are encroaching on our territory. And of course, we don't really appreciate that, do we? Now, of course, what I would very much like to do is maybe a little bit of damage, because these guys are going to do quite a bit. And I would like to be able to maybe just distract them a little bit, maybe do a little bit of glancing damage here and there. I do have an overwhelming amount of cavalry, by the way. I have 82 cavalry. I have no idea how that actually happened. I guess it's because of all the upgrades that I've been receiving over the course of the time that I had those rescued prisoners join us in the previous episode. And they have all eventually leveled up into cavalry of some kind. Now, of course, the enemy doesn't really have that many units. They have about 110, something along those lines, and generally, yeah, they're going to get murdered. They're going to get murdered pretty significantly here. Ooh, look at that. That's a nice defense to the, overwhelming cavalry attack that we're no doubt going to try to get going here. Oh, nice damage, Bruce. Good work. I'm actually kind of surprised that he got any kills whatsoever here. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually, you know, it's a javelin to the face and then Bruce is on the ground and he's blaming me for all of his life's mistakes. That's generally how it goes. Anyway, thankfully, we don't have to worry about it too much. Oh, this is also a... Oh, wow. That's actually kind of amazing. Yeah, I remember this now. This weapon is also a slashing weapon, the Manavlion that I'm using right here. And, yeah, so technically I don't even need the other one, because this one is also a thrusting weapon. Well, the other one's also a thrusting weapon too, but I believe this one does more damage while thrusting. But there it is. Easy victory for us right there. Nothing to worry about at all. Good amount of influence, good amount of renown and everything. And I'm going to show you the state of the map in just a second. So we're just going to let this guy go. He was raiding one of my villages, which I was not a big fan of course. But who am I to say that he can't do that? We're at war, and as a result, he is allowed to do whatever he wants to do, of course. And we have to try and stop him. Anyway, he was raiding this village right here, and obviously I don't really want that to happen. Thank you very much. Ooh, Olek is also raiding something. How dare you, sir? I will be heading on over there and trying to deal some damage to him in just a second. However, let's see what we can do about these 3 trait points that we have here. 20% less cohesion decay. I think that's personally not worth it. 20% less influence needed to call parties to army. I think that is maybe more worth it. So I'm going to... should I even bother doing that? I mean, here's the thing. Influence is used for both of these. And it really depends on how effective you are with utilizing your army as soon as you have it. Because obviously it's going to take quite a bit of influence to call people to your army initially. So 20% less cost of that is pretty good. You know, that's all right. But if you already have the army and you're going to spend quite a bit of time within it, then of course the 20% less cohesion decay is going to be quite good as well. Because that will then mean that you'll have... well, you have to spend less. You have to spend less influence over time. I'm actually going to go for the Inspiring Leader one. I think that that's probably better for me as it stands. And high morale increases healing rate by 10% because I'm currently at 100 morale basically all the time. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. And Elusive. We've finally gotten to Elusive right here. So we can now leave 50% fewer troops behind, which is very nice indeed. Okay, so is there anything else that I really want to spec into here? Well, engineering, I suppose, is definitely going to be something that I would want. And we also want to level up our tactics skill. Disorganized state duration reducing by 50% is, in my opinion, one of the most important skills to get. If it's working, I think it is, because it's community patch. I think community patch is helping us with that. But otherwise, hello there. Look at this. He actually reduced in relation with us just because I'm stopping him from raiding this village. Did you see that? That's actually a new feature because I don't believe that happened before. Don't think that they really cared if you attacked them or not. I mean, obviously they're not too pleased about it, but you know, they well, they obviously added a relation penalty for interrupting people's plans, their evil plans to raid something. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe try to get him, because he's obviously not in an army at the moment, and we do outnumber him, and I have found in the past that it is much more likely for a vassal to join you if you outnumber them. Oh, wow. I really failed a 97%? Are you serious, Oleg? Come on now, sir. Okay, well, yes, this is a dangerous step. Let's have a look. And no, he is still extremely stubborn about the whole thing. I'm actually very surprised at that, to be honest. I really thought that he would be pretty open to the idea, but I think that in general, if their personality is that of someone that is going to be very stubborn, going to be, you know, very steadfast in their loyalty to their original faction, then it is going to be highly unlikely for them to join you. But as we have so far seen, defections can and will still happen even at positive relation, because as you could no doubt see in the previous episode, we had a bit of a betrayal, small betrayal, admittedly, so doesn't really make too much difference to us at the moment, but it would be much, much better if we didn't have those kinds of things happen. Anyway, I'm going to be going for a nice wedge with our cavalry here, and we're just going to kind of let our archers do their thing, because we have a significant numbers advantage. There's no need for me to be overly aggressive here. And also, speaking of overly aggressive, I'm actually going to be aggressively trying to find and indeed search for a lancing weapon. So something that can actually couch lance rather than just a regular spear. And hopefully that's going to work out quite well. Because Vlandia is known for lancing, aren't they? I mean, they should be, considering they have some very good heavy cavalry units. So I'm hopeful that I'll be able to find something there. Or I can literally just make one myself, because we do have a companion that has 150 plus smithing. And as a result, we should have a pretty decent time making something good, you know? It should be quite, well, quite easy. Or at least I hope so. So we'll maybe try that out after this. And there is actually an army of Batanians nearby as well. They had about 360 units. So I was a bit dubious about doing anything with them, because they're obviously going to be quite strong. As far as I'm aware, they had about 40 Oathsworn in there, as well as a whole bunch, like 80 or so cavalry of one unit. So, you know, you can add that up. You know, if you have 80 cavalry of one unit, then you're more than likely going to have at least 120, maybe even 140 cavalry in just one army. And that's going to be extremely significant damage that they're able to deal. So anyway, let's get my cavalry over here. They are a wedge, of course, and we would like very much for them to be charging in from the flank and try and deal as much damage as possible to the Sturgian skirmishers and archers and various other ranged units. So let's see if we can get them around here, shall we? Seems like my my infantry's actually just charging straight on in there. Oh, okay, yeah, it's because I did not update their positioning. Oh well, I guess that actually doesn't matter too much, because we're going to be able to do some pretty good damage as it is. And even if we do lose a number of people, that's actually not even that big a deal, because we have so many, and we're going to be able to capture a whole load of units as well. And I have placed a number of prisoners in the garrison at Nevyansk Castle. And someone actually let me know, by the way, that it is pretty easy to sort of give up your fief. So if you want to, you can give up your fief, and then you can try and take something else, and then you can try and claim that, because more than likely, if you don't have a fief, they will give it to you. Even if you're the liege, obviously you can decide, you can overrule people's decisions and so on. So technically what I could do is just take something and then force through the decision if I wanted to. But as it stands, I don't think I'm going to even need to do that, because if I do want to, as I said before, I can just give up my current fief, which is of course Nevyansk Castle, and then just take something else. And, you know, See what happens with that. But I think at the moment I'm pretty happy with how it is, and we have 250 in charm now, and we can gain this extremely useful trait right here. Do you see the description of this? It's amazing, right? I mean, personally, I don't know how I would make a character without getting this trait. It is so incredible. I just don't know how they're allowing me to take such an overpowered skill. It's really crazy. Ah. Oh. Well, Sturgia is proposing peace, and they are willing to pay 44 dinars. Yes. I'm going to accept it, just purely for the fact that I want to focus on the Botanians as much as we possibly can, and that's pretty much it. That's literally the only reason why I would do that. And otherwise, who do we have here? Fernhard, he's running away. He has very low tier units, and Urgion, as you can quite clearly tell, he has 84 horsemen and a number of other relatively strong units. Might be problematic for us. How many cavalry does he have? No, he only has 109. He only has 109. He has 228 cavalry. I think it's probably best if Fernhard continues to run away. Don't really want to get myself killed at this point, if at all possible. Now, what we're going to be doing is going back into the castle here and basically just managing the prisoners. Basically, what I do, or what I've decided to do now with prisoners, is when I take them, I'm just going to basically give them into the dungeon here, and that is it. And I'm just going to let Improved Garrison just recruit as many units as it possibly can for the garrison itself, and hopefully that's going to improve the amount of defenders that it has and so on over time. And as a result, we should have a pretty ironclad area to fall back to if we need to. And then they're going to have a whole bunch of units in there as well. So if we do end up losing our entire army, it's going to be, I'm not going to say simple, but it's going to be simpler, shall we say, for us to, get back on our feet, I guess. Get back on our feet, because of course we do want to make sure that we don't have too much downtime. We want to keep the pressure on in regards to murdering our opponents. And in this case, that is, of course, the Botanians. I think what I might do after this particular battle, I'm just going to charge everyone in, by the way. But what I might do is I might go back to, I was going to say Swadian territory again. Why? Why do I continue saying that? It's because, they're very much like Swadians. But anyway, the point is, we're going to go over to Vlandian territory. We might very well want to check out some of the marketplaces in the meantime as well, because they might have a lance, or we might want to just get it over with and just do a little bit of smithing ourselves. These guys are pretty powerful, and as you can no doubt tell, the AI is really, really targeting the player character super hard. They really do. They're pinpoint accurate when it comes to the player charging in. And for that reason, I actually feel like playing a cavalry-focused lancing unit, like a Vlandian knight, for example, like we're doing here, I feel like that's quite difficult. Mainly because if you don't have a shield, or if you're using something that doesn't allow you to use a shield or something, it's going to very easily be the case where you get shot in the face more often than not, and that is going to result in many, many untimely demises, which you certainly don't want. Anyway, what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to move through Botanian territory. I've got to be a bit careful. It seems like Fernhard is attempting to perpetrate a raid, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm actually losing a huge amount of gold here, mainly because of the Improved Garrisons mod. It is quite a bit better scaled nowadays, because in previous versions, I'm currently playing, by the way, on game version 1.4.2, so if you want to also download any of the mods that I have, make sure that they are compatible with 1.4.2, otherwise they're not going to work, and you probably get a crash to desktop or something like that. Anyway, point is, I feel like the mod creators of Improved Garrisons have made it much more balanced than it used to be. Because it used to be that you would be able to recruit prisoners, you'd be able to upgrade things, you'd be able to recruit things, and they wouldn't really charge you that much money at all. And as a result, it would be a lot easier for you to gain troops in varieties of different situations. So I'm going to have to use a whole bunch of smithing profit here to be able to do anything in that regard. So anyway, let's take a look and see if we can get a lance. There we go. There's one. Perfect. Vlandian heavy lance. That is exactly what we want. Is it though? Yeah, I think that's the one. Okay, so we're gonna... I'm not sure what to use, to be honest. I guess we'll just put it on there, and... What's the slashing damage like? Yeah, this Manavlion is actually really good, as you can quite clearly tell. It's got 39 cutting damage from swing, and I'm actually wondering how much this is. This is 35. Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I would have expected this to be much better because it does have a, well, quite clearly a larger blade on the end of the pole, so it should theoretically do more damage maybe, but I guess that's not the case. Okay, so this would be fantastic. This is, however, a two-handed, so it is going to be very, very difficult to use on horseback, especially when you, as the player character, are going to be focused down. However, it does have an insane reach, as you can quite clearly tell. It has 299 length. That is probably the longest reach polearm I've ever seen, and who knows, maybe we'll make a better one just now. So let's have a look. Alright, so first off, we want to try and make a whole bunch of these, just to make sure that we have enough. And then we're going to go over to, two-handed polearms, I suppose. We want it to be one-handed / two-handed as well, so, you know, don't want it to be too terrible. Okay, knightly lance. Okay, that's perfect. Let's go over to Thorgood again, so that we can actually make sure that he's making something good, you know. Definitely want to do that. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to use a tier 5... knightly lance head. I think that seems pretty good. I mean, the length is not that good. So what about an extra long fine steel spear head? That allows 72 length, which would probably be better. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty nice. But can it be couched? I don't know whether it can be couched yet. So let's actually have a look. Does this actually make it couchable? What actually makes it couchable? I suppose the shaft, I would assume? No? Yes, it might. It doesn't seem to be making that much difference, to be honest. I'm actually wondering what makes it couchable, because none of these things are really making that much difference at all, which is actually kind of weird. Okay, how about this one? Okay, maybe the blade? The blade needs to be changed for it to be couchable? It doesn't seem like it, to be honest. Okay, this is kind of weird. I guess, well, you know what? I'm just going to go for this. I'm going to go for the knightly lance head, and we're going to see if we can make something decent with it. So I'm just going to make it a little bit larger. I don't really like the shaft, to be honest. Decorated long pine shaft. I think I'd probably prefer to go for something like oak. That's a spear, though. Spear. Oh, okay. Are there any lance ones? It doesn't seem like it. I guess I'll just go for something like this, and then we'll just make it a little bit longer so we can increase the difficulty of it as well. 197 weapon reach. I don't, as you can see, I have no idea whether it has couch lancing ability, so we're just going to make it. And yeah, I didn't get anything else from that. I didn't get any bonuses or anything, which is kind of unfortunate. But let's just take a quick look, shall we? Let's take a quick look and see whether it's actually any good. Alright, so where is it now? Crafted, two-handed, polearm. Yeah, as you can quite clearly see, it is indeed a couch lance. Okay, that's good. That is actually very nice. But as you can tell, it is pretty much exactly the same as what we have purchased. And the only thing different about it is that it is a little bit lighter, and it does a little bit more damage. And that's it. So, I don't really see the point in changing at the moment, but it's nice to know that we can create something relatively similar to that, so I'm pretty happy with it. Otherwise, we're just going to go into the smithy again and just do a little bit of smelting. We're probably going to do some smelting with Varmund so that he can level up a couple of his things here. We're going to gain a whole bunch of wood as well, which is rather nice. And I think, I don't know whether you noticed that, but I think what I just did was I literally just smelted down my crafted two-handed swords. And, well, as you know, that's probably not the best idea. That is probably not the best idea, because that means that basically lost out on, like, what, 40,000 gold or something along those lines. So, yeah, don't be too mad at me. Don't be too mad, because let's just say I can pretty easily make them again, so it's not really that big a deal. But, yeah, if you noticed that, then you noticed it, at least. Okay, so, otherwise, yes, we're just going to continue smelting here. So much. Look at that. So much to smelt. Crazy amounts of these axes and things. Wow. Yeah, there's a huge amount there. Okay. Yeah, so we're just... do I have enough? Yeah, I have enough energy to be able to do some more. There we go. And now I don't have any more, of course. Okay, anyone else have any smithing skill? This guy has a little bit of smithing skill, so we could level that up a little bit. And then we can just use him to smelt as well. There we go. Okay, perfect. Very nice indeed. Okay, so we got all of that done, and we got rid of all the armor and stuff like that, and now we can move on to Praven, and we can actually sell even more stuff, which is going to be quite nice. There's Deathheart, he's running around. He's obviously not the liege anymore, which is really nice. And we're going to be selling some stuff here. Oh, yes. Look at this. Boom. 31,000. Are you serious? Ugh. Okay, yeah, that's not really going to work out too well, is it? Okay, so I'm going to actually sort by value here real quick. And we're just going to sell all of this stuff. We'll see how much I can actually sell. And actually, I'm just going to let people equip some stuff as well. There we go. And then we're just going to see how much I can actually get. Because I don't want to give away money for free, basically. You know what I mean? I don't want to give away my my goods for not how much we are owed, basically. You know, it's not a particularly good way to go. Anyway, let's go over to Galand as well. And I think after this, we'll probably do battle with some Botanians. Ooh, we got a bit of a sandwich situation on our hands here. It seems like Mr. Carfid is kind of just standing there randomly, and Belgier actually could have attacked and probably gotten him into a battle, but apparently he didn't want to. As you can see, Deathheart is actually taking this castle right here. We might very well have an opportunity to claim it for ourselves if we want to. As you can see, we're actually losing relation every single time with a number of people, but mainly because our faction is indeed taking that fief, which is, I assume, a very much new feature, because it used to be that did not happen. So that's kind of interesting to me. And let's actually see if I can get this guy into a battle here. Now, I'm not sure if Ormondfard Castle is actually a Botanian fief, or whether it's a Vlandian fief originally. So it would be quite nice to know about that. I'm actually gonna... Oh, should I... I wanted to auto-resolve, but I didn't really want to lose units. So I'm just gonna go in here, just fully charge it. Actually, you know what? Should I do auto-delegation, see what happens? Let's do auto-delegation and see what actually happens. Now, we can try out our new lance, and bear in mind that we do have that new trait that gives me that chance. I can't access the character window right now, unfortunately. But I would have liked to have shown you that. But anyway, it gives us a 30% chance when couching against certain units, as far as I'm aware. Or is it just in general? I'm actually not sure. But yes, it does give us a 30% chance to not have my couch expire. In other words, you can basically continue couching again and again and again. If you get lucky, then you're going to be able to couch indefinitely through numerous enemies, which is really nice. However, I've already kind of seen that couching in Bannerlord is much more effective than it used to be in Warband, because you can literally couch and then it has such a short cooldown that it's basically ready again. As you can see, look at that. It is ready instantly, once again. And I think that that is very effective, and I like that change a lot. I think that the way that Warband worked was a little bit slower paced. But I'm not sure whether it made sense. Did it make sense more? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. It really depends on the weight of the weapon that you'd be using, in my opinion at least. Because if you're using extremely long, lengthy spear, like for example those 290 length spears or lances, then it's much likelier that you're going to take longer to ready it again rather than a shorter spear, because obviously a shorter spear is going to be much easier to use, and that's exactly the reason why the handling is, of course, that much different as well. Because, of course, every single time you increase the reach or increase the damage or something like that, your handling is going to go down. But I think I'm pretty happy with the lance that we've got right here. And if we actually just take a look very quickly at that trait, as you can see, yes, your couch lance now has a 30% chance to stay couched if it kills someone. So if you kill someone on the open battlefield and you don't run into anything else and your speed maintains and, you know, you continue to charge forth, then you're going to be able to couch another person. And then if you get lucky again, another 30% chance, you might very well have a really good time. Aha! Urgion's army is attempting to retaliate at Ormondfart Castle. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, they're actually giving this to me? They actually want this to go to me. This is actually kind of strange. I don't know why they would do this personally, but I guess I will take it then. I hope it is a Vlandian castle and not a Botanian one. If it is a Botanian one, then I guess I'll just have to deal with it. But do you think I can actually find out on the encyclopedia? Yes, it is actually a Botanian one as far as I'm aware, because as you can see, all the way back in winter of 1086, it was indeed besieged by Derthart. And so as a result, it is indeed a Botanian castle, which I am not a big fan of, thank you very much, because I would personally prefer to have a castle that is a part of the same culture that we are, of course, a part of, which is indeed Vlandia. So it would be much nicer for us to have that be a thing, but it's all right. It's fine. We don't really have to worry about it too much. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to say no to recruiting all of this stuff, because let's face it, we don't really want to do that, thank you. That is going to be way too much money, and we do not want that to happen. So let's just manage the castle real quick. Okay, so toll collector, that is going to be something that we definitely need to do. I will be putting 10,000 in the reserves here to increase its speed. The walls are rank 3 already. Wow, that's insane. That's going to do so much in terms of deterring people from actually attacking us here. Anyway, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. Next time, we're going to be calling for an army, and we will go hard against the Botanians, and we'll try and take a whole bunch of their stuff. We'll probably try and take this castle right here. Only has 271 defenders, and this one over here, don't know how many defenders it has, but that is going to increase our territory control by a pretty significant amount already. It seems like Veron Castle is also under siege, but we don't really need to worry about that because it is out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.